everybody? Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Guerrero.
And today we're going to cover another triple header on this loaded fisticuffs weekend in which we're talking about the Fox card today. On the previous video we talked about the HBO card, so if you haven't seen that, go back and see it. If you're not a subscriber, hit the bell icon so you can go back and see it. And then hit that little bell thingy next to the subscribe button so you can get all the updates, so you can get all the knowledge that we bring. So we're going to talk about the 3 fights that are on this card, which in the main event we have Robert Guerrero versus Omar Figueroa Jr. Also on this card we have Shawnee Monahan and Marcus Brown, and Archer Spilka versus
Adam Kalnaki.
There we go. So I've never seen Konaki fight.
We kind of missed it when we went and saw our boy Emmanuel Aleem win the WBC silver title. Yes, that was a plug. But he won the fight. He is undefeated, 16-0. So he's obviously pretty good, and they're giving him a big step up in competition versus Archer Spilka.
Yeah, whose only 2 losses are to Brian Jennings and Deontay Wilder. While both by knockout, he gave them all they could handle up until the point of the knockout.
He's very athletic, fights from that southpaw stance, and has an odd rhythm, but it's effective.
Right. Like we said, he gave 2 very good fighters in Jennings and Wilder all they could handle, and was arguably winning the Wilder fight before he got knocked into this fight.
That's right.
He was carried out in the stretcher, and we hadn't seen him until this fight.
And his last fight against Wilder was in January of last year.
Yes. He got hit hard. But this is where we find out what's his name again?
Adam Kalnaki.
Is made of. I don't know why I can't remember this guy's name, but yeah. This fight is to see if he can make us remember his name.
And I know Spilka is Polish.
Yes.
By the name, I'm going to say Kalnaki is Polish. He fights out of New York. I just had it up.
I remember that jackets were red and white when we saw him.
He is Polish.
Yeah.
Sorry, once we saw the fight, we said, hey, this is a big crowd. Like this one dude is about my size. Did he just fight? And then we just saw, he just fought. And apparently I think he knocked out the dude. Yeah, he knocked out the guy. So, and just looking at his, they've pretty much matched up against guys with 1 loss going forward at heavyweight. So, again, huge step up in competition for Kalnaki against a guy with a lot of experience, who might be a little rusty. His 2 losses were knockouts, so it's kind of up in the air. I want to take Spilka, but I need to see more Adam Kalnaki in order to make a real firm decision.
Right, like I said, this is the fight that'll make us pay attention to him, because the two losses Spilka had were different types of knockouts. The knockout versus Jennings was a attrition knockout, and Deontay Wilder was a 1-punch, wham bam, thank you ma'am, get him out of here type of knockout.
That's right.
So we don't know what kind of power Kalnaki has, and we're gonna find out. So just like the rest of you guys, we're gonna watch that one with an interesting view to see what we can get out of this guy, to see if he's gonna be a player or not. And even if he doesn't necessarily win it, if he can show skills to maybe build off and still become a player even if he loses.
And they're both going to be, he's entering a division which has been on the uptick in the last 2 years. So it'll be exciting to see a new name, a new face,
right,
get in the running and see what he can do against these top 10 heavyweights. And Spilka has been, let's say top 15, maybe top 10 at some points. But it would be nice to see him throw his name back into the hat of the heavyweight. That's right. I mean, there's plenty of names out there. Joshua, Klitschko, Parker, Wilder, Jennings again. Who am I missing? The Furies.
Povetkin just got back into the hunt. He won against somebody, but I think he probably won't ever fight for the WBC title again, but I think the IBF has
they've inserted him back in the rankings.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of names, exciting names, young names. We got Gerald Miller versus Jared Washer later on this month. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, let's see what happens from there. So let's move on to the light heavyweight fight between Monahan and Brown. And this is another interesting fight where we got two guys that have been prospects for a while meeting up in, I wouldn't say it's a crossroads fight, but it's one of those fights where
someone's got to take a step up to the next level.
There you go. This is my bro. So when you have that type of fight, both guys are undefeated. Both guys have skill. And both guys have been in discussions to fight bigger names. But like if you saw our HBO preview, like the Joe Smith and Sullivan Barrera fight, those fell through. They got each other. So they're going to make do.
But I will say Monahan is not the sexy pick. He really doesn't have a whole lot of knockouts. And he's got almost 30 fights. But he's never really taken off. It's kind of like he would stay busy, but never get a name in the top 15.
Yeah.
His best win to date is probably Donovan George, and I remember seeing that fight. While Brown, who took some time off after the fight with Kalashik, who I've said quite a bit, I'm a fan of his because of that fight.
Didn't he fight Thomas Williams Jr. recently?
And he fight Thomas Williams Jr. Remember, there was a big gap between about a year layoff from Brown. Then he came back and knocked Thomas Williams Jr. out.
Yeah, and he looked okay in that fight. I remember we got video on it. Go back and watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
Where we talked about what happened in that fight and what, because I think he did foul him a couple times.
Yeah.
But he still was able to get the job done and get the knockout. I think it was like third or fourth round.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is another very tough, evenly matched fight for Brown, and a step up, but still an evenly matched fight for Monahan. So this one is very interesting because, like we said, we got two guys that are undefeated, two guys that want to make it to the next level, and someone's going to have to step up to that next level.
And this is another deep division because not only are the guys coming up and they're starting to fight each other, but we know the two top names in the sport in that division are Andre Ward and Adonis Stevenson, who's got a date with Elida Alvarez, who's also undefeated.
Yeah. And then you got Guerrero and Joe Smith, who we just talked about in the HBO video.
That's right.
Who those two could fight each other if, no title shot comes about. Because really the title roles only lead to either Ward or Stevenson, which would be easier for Brown because he's part of that PBC umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know.
And then if Monahan wins, he would be in the running to fight Andre Ward because Rock Nation has a better relationship with Top Rank and not with PBC. A lot of politics going on. I'm just trying to see someone get knocked out.
Yeah. I don't even care if they get knocked out. I want to see some skill, and the knockout is the cherry on top. But there's a lot of possibilities in light heavyweight. So these guys need to show up, show out, and say, hey, look out for me, because I'm here. Now, as far as the pick goes, I want to lean towards Brown because I think he's a little bit more polished and a little bit more powerful. But I think Monahan can really frustrate him until that happens. So I think that's what I think is going to happen.
In order for Monahan to win, he's got to mentally take Brown out of the fight. We saw that versus Kalashik, who, again, had a lot of skill, and Brown was just pretty much confused. And especially a guy at Southpaw, you would say he has the advantage, but the potential is there. I think he's got great power. He can definitely box, but Monahan, I think, can possibly remain consistent over 12 rounds. He can kind of get on the outside. If I was him, I'd probably try to muscle him a bit. Try to make it a dirty fight, and get that short work on the inside to kind of slow him down.
Right. So we'll see what he does and talk about it in the recap. Main event time. Robert Guerrero coming off the loss to, was it Aaron Martinez?
I believe so. No, it was not Aaron Martinez. It was the guy who was driving the cabs.
I thought it was. Yeah. He's gonna pull it up. Wow. We talk about Omar Figueroa, who's also been on a long layoff and also moving up the division.
No, it was David Peralta.
David Peralta, okay.
He beat Aaron Martinez. Remember that? The guy that split decision?
Yes. Yeah, that was a pretty close fight. But, so now we got two guys, two southpaws, one that is very active in Figueroa, one who's fairly active and pretty tough in Guerrero. I think we're going to have a fight on our hands. Neither guy is the best defensive fighter. Neither guy, while likes to throw a lot of punches, they're not the most powerful guy. So, like we talked about with Miura and Burchelt, where we're going to get an action fight that probably won't go the distance, with this one, we'll get an action fight that probably will go the distance. So we got Figueroa, like I said, he's moving up. First fight at 47. Or was it second fight?
Second fight at 47.
So he is the quintessential volume puncher. This guy's going to throw 90, 100 punches around. He's going to be in your face. And he looks to wear you out with a large amount of punches and just wear you down. Robert Guerrero is a little bit, what you see?
He hasn't fought in a while. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He came off a long layoff. Yeah. But Guerrero is a little bit more economical with his punches, but he does let go, I would say about 50 to 60 punches around, which is around, I would say, about average, slightly above average for welterweight. So, like I said, there's a lot of work to see in this type of fight. And the deciding factor is going to be who can land harder, cleaner, more often. Because like I said, there's going to be a lot of leather being thrown in this one. And a lot of punches that probably won't be missed. But which guy is going to be able to land the cleaner, more judge-friendly, crowd-friendly shots? I think that might be Guerrero because he can place his shots a little bit better. Mm-hmm. He has veteran eyes, so you can probably see the openings better than Figueroa does, who just throws in two openings. He's like one of those guys that if you watch football or basketball, he'll throw in the coverage and like throw somebody open. Whereas Guerrero can like look and see where openings are that someone else may not see and then put the ball in there. So I'm thinking that Guerrero can take this. He'll be able to land a little bit cleaner, a little bit harder, and outdo the activity that Figueroa is going to bring.
Yeah, and I think Figueroa is actually going to start off a lot faster than Guerrero. We know Guerrero is in there for, because he doesn't have a lot of power, and we know he can box. He tends to get caught up in firefights. He did that versus Martinez. He did that versus Peralta. He did that versus what's the Japanese guy? Not Kamagai, or is it Kamagai?
Yeah, it was Kamagai.
Against Kamagai. Now, granted, I think two of those guys were bigger than him, but he always comes into shape. And coming from that southpaw stance, he can really land, but he's got to hurt Figueroa. He's got to make him drop his output. You could go to the body, but I think Figueroa is going to start out fast. I think he's got to get on the inside. He's got to kind of box his way to the inside, and he gets caught walking fighters down. You saw that versus Garcia. You saw that versus Keith Thurman, where he was able to come on late. That speaks to his conditioning. Now, with Peralta, I think he just took that fight too short notice after the fights that he's been in with Kamagai, Garcia's, Martinez, Thurman, all in succession. And that's kind of rough to get into, especially when you're being outboxed. But he was able, again, to really get to Garcia later on in the fight. And again, Peralta was just kind of right off the bat. So he took the time off, he let himself refresh. He's going in against a guy who will probably come in fresh, but will probably come in a little bit rusty. I think Guerrero forces a fight because I think Figueroa kind of gets caught sleeping. You can see that in some of his fights at lightweight versus
Jerry Belmontes,
Araucar, Nahito Araucar, and it's another fight, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Strada?
Might have been Daniel Strada. Was it Daniel Strada?
Daniel or David, one of the two. But anyway,
it's
not hard to find, which is going to make it easy for Guerrero. He's one of those guys, like I said, he's a volume puncher. He likes to literally put his head down and throw lots of punches. So I think he's going to try to go to Guerrero's body, like Rob said that Guerrero should go to his body. So all this leads up to lots and lots and lots of landed leather.
Whoever gives up ground first will probably be the one that loses.
Yeah. Like I said, because I think Guerrero's going to land a little bit harder, a little bit cleaner, he'll get Figueroa to back up first and end up taking a decision. What you got?
I don't know. Something tells me this is going to be a close fight. It's going to be 7-5 type fight.
Yeah, maybe even split. I'm probably thinking split. I think Guerrero will win, but it'll be a split decision.
But we have to see where he has and how fresh he comes into this fight.
Same thing with Figueroa, because both of these guys are coming off of long layoffs.
Yeah.
But I think for the fans, they're going to enjoy it. And then they will tune into our recap and get the nitty-gritty breakdown of what actually happened in the ring beyond people getting hit in the face. So that's what we're waiting on, is the recap, so we can really sink our teeth into what we actually can see happen instead of just, prognosticating what we think is going to happen. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts below on who you think is going to win. If you have any insight onto some guys' tactics and how you think it's going to play, let us know. Hit us up on our social media networks. All of the links are below as well. That's really it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being with us. And we'll see you in the next video.
Don't forget to check out our preview of the HBO fights in front of Hakeem.
Yeah.
And my breakdown of the cruiserweight and super middleweight tournament, the World Boxing Super Series, coming in September, right here in the May.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to work on that because they're getting rid of the annotations on YouTube.
Oh, why?
I'll at least put it in the card so you'll see it come across the screen there, and then you can select it on the window that's in front of Rob right now. There we go.
Yeah.
I got it. But that's it, guys. See you in the next episode. And until then, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.